So on this week's episode of Be More Super, the podcast, I'm so excited. This week, it's going to be an amazing week for directors on the show. Not only at the end of the week, I'm chatting with Jesse V. Johnson, but this week at the beginning, we've got a great director. It's William Kaufman. William, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much. And by the way, I'm a huge fan of Jesse's as well.
And you know what? I didn't realise he was a Brit. So... you know, when I was listening to him in an interview, I was like, he's English. That is amazing. So I look forward to chatting to him at the end of the week. But William, I've got to say, wow, I've seen the movie, The Channel, that's out on the 14th of July. Massive fan, literally.
Awesome.
Non-stop from the beginning to the end. The cinematography is just awe-inspiring. The score is just amazing. And it's just a great story. It really, really is. I mean, everyone, including myself, loves a great bank heist movie. So how does this one compare to others out there?
I mean, I think... there's a lot of great ones, right? So, I mean, my favorite is obviously Heat with Michael Mann, and that definitely had its signature mark on me. I think what it is it's told from a different perspective. Normally, a heist movie is all about the heist, right? So our goal was to try and do our own thing, and so this was really the heist is what kicks off all the insanity. So this crew of bank robbers, ex-Marines from the sandbox, come and do this bank robbery, and it goes really badly, and they're on the run. And so our story is really about our two brothers, one of their wives, so CLAYNE, CRAWFORD, Max Martini, and Julian Joyner, and them trying to get the hell out of Dodge.
And I've got to say, I had the pleasure of seeing it a few days ago, and straight away from pressing play, literally you're hooked in. I mean, I don't want to spoil it for anyone out there, but you've just got to go and see it. I mean, I am going to buy it. I really am, because the thing is, once you've seen it, you think about it for the next couple of days, and I want to go back. And I want to go back and watch it again. I really, really do. Because as you said, I mean, it is a bank heist movie, but it's very character driven. You know, these characters are just awesome. Max Martini's character is scary as hell. And I've seen him, well, he's been on the show twice already. I was going to get him on the show, but he's being selfish and filming. And plus he's got his kids with him as well. So he hasn't got time, bless him. But, you know, his character is so chilling in this film. It really, really is. But it's great to see that brother bond there, no matter what. I mean, you're well known for your action movies. I mean, what is it about them so much that, you know, that you love? Why not another sort of genre of film to go into?
I've said this before, but basically, I mean, I would be open to doing other things, but the little boy who wanted to be a filmmaker, and I actually grew up in London until I was about 12.
Oh wow!
And so I was the guy running around with a video camera, making my little movies, and so obviously the things that inspired me at that time were going and seeing anything Spielberg, you know, James Cameron, and you know, I was a huge John Carpenter fan, and so I think that the action genre pulled me, and I went down that road, and then it became kind of my signature niche, and so that was the direction things were being pushed, and I love it. I love it a lot more when I get to do something like The Channel, where it's, as you said, you know, much more character driven, and I think that's where it kind of gets an opportunity to share, you know, have both guilty pleasures. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's strange, isn't it? I mean, you know, it's the old style cops and robbers, and you don't normally gravitate towards the robbers, but in this movie, you were sort of, you know, you've got the robbers' side. I mean, I really wanted them to get away. I really wanted them to succeed, and it's strange, and that's a testament to the writing of yourself and the person you co-wrote with, in the way that actually straight away you sort of care for these characters. And Julianne in this movie is just absolutely stunning. She really, really is. And
Isn't she
apparently,
great?
it's probably. I think I've heard you say it's her breakout sort of role, which for me I'm really shocked at because she's just awesome. She really is. I have invited her onto the show, so fingers crossed she sees my messages and emails. And
I'll
I
give
can
her a
have on.
nudge too.
Oh yeah, I would love to have her on because the thing is, she's done so much in the stunt community as well, which is awesome to chat about as well. Because I absolutely love the stunt community. I think they just do an amazing job. They're like unsung heroes, as I say. So the channel hits all the marks. It really does. It's got jaw-dropping action and heart. How difficult is it to direct such a fast-paced movie?
I think it comes down to the team you have supporting you. I had a cast in Max and CLAYNE and Julian and Nicoy Banks, who plays my FBI agent, and just a fantastic cast. And so they make my life really easy. And we're super supportive, and that lets us move really quickly. And then having producers that really want to make, I know it sounds odd to say, but they want to make a great movie. And so many times you've got producers who it's only financially driven. So their only goal is a poster and a trailer. And it really doesn't matter, So for me, having this team of filmmakers that could really, really support everything, that's the only way it can be done. That's how I feel like, getting to do something of real quality.
I mean, I've got to mention again, the casting is phenomenal, not only for the main characters, but for the supporting characters. And this movie, I've got to say, gives me a sense that there's no such thing as a small character, because even the characters that don't get much screen time, they're still amazing. They really are. I mean, what went into the casting and why CLAYNE and Max for the brothers? What attracted you to them to cast them as the brothers in the movie?
Well, I'm actually a huge fan of both of theirs, going way back. And originally, CLAYNE was going to be playing the role of Mick, and Max was going to be playing the role of the FBI agent, Agent Ross. And we got the offer, and I knew they were both really good friends. So I tried to make sure my team made sure their individual teams, would leak the information that they were both getting offers at the same time. And then they came back, and I thought it was so clever. I was expecting that, hopefully they would both want to work together. And they one-upped me and said, what if we both play the brothers? We've always wanted to play brothers. We've known each other 20 years. And I was like, couldn't be a better situation.
I mean, you can tell that on screen with the chemistry there. And obviously Max, one of my favourite films was 13 Hours, which I'm absolutely obsessed with.
That's my favorite Michael Bay film.
Oh, do you know what? Yeah. I had the honour of having Mark Geist on the show, who was the real life person that Max portrayed in the movie. So it was quite an odd thing to have Max and then the person that he portrayed. But such a great movie with the action. But the channel literally is just non-stop. It really, really is. And obviously in Kaufman's style, there's action and they do an incredible job. But what sort of things did you have to put the actors through to get them to the level that you wanted them at to perform on screen? Because there's lots of guns, lots of fighting, lots of tactical stuff. I mean, what sort of boot camp did they have to go through?
We kind of had a cops and robbers boot camp. So the robbers went through Bank Robber 101. They're playing former Marine Raiders, Marine Special Forces, in the film. So I had my buddy, who's a good friend of mine, Scott Phillips, who's a former Navy SEAL, and he ran them through everything they had to do in the movie. So kind of a tactical school and all the things they do in the film. So they had pretty extensive training session with him, cooking in the Louisiana heat. And then on the flip side, the bank robbers work with the character of Hayes, Agent Hayes, is an actor named, his name is Ed Spila. So Ed Spila is also actually a former Dallas SWAT operator for like 30 years. So he ran them through their own camp. So they never never trained together. They never. You could actually, there was almost like this cool tension as the cool kids both passing each other in the hallway, and one would go to be leaving the range while the other one was arriving, and so it was kind of cool to have that natural competitiveness. So
it sounds awesome, and I'd love to come on one of those days, to pretend to be a robber. I think you could sell that as an experience. You really could. Find your own piece of magic with Prop Store, the world's leading auctioneers of film props, costumes, and more. So check out propstore.com or follow the link in the description of this video. And while you're doing that, why don't you use our special code? Our special code will give you 10% off anything in the Buy Now section. And the code is easy to remember. It's Brian10. That's BRYAN 10, and it's just above the finger, just here. Use that at the checkout to get your 10% off. That's propstore.com. And not stopping at directing the project, you also co-wrote the project. So what was it like to see, this movie come from page to screen? I mean, were there any moments that made you really proud that you saw come from page to screen?
I mean, there were numerous moments like that because it all happened very fast. And I mean, I would think of scenes. There's a great scene where CLAYNE spends time with his daughter, which is pretty simply written, and he took it, the baby, and he took it to another level. I think one of the best. There's two others would be Max and CLAYNE have this confrontation, this brother scene together, and it played out so real and so human and truthful, and it was just really engaging for me on the day. And then, of course, the final scene with Julian and Nicoy Banks, our FBI agent Ross, and their cat and mouse game together. And it was, it's all bits and pieces that I can relate to, stolen from my life or people I know, that are just really human things. And it was so cool to see that come to life.
I mean, I've got to say that baby at the beginning, the cutest baby I've ever seen. I mean, I've got two little girls, but that baby is so cute. Really, really is. And that soundtrack as well. It's just beautiful.
John Room's my composer. He's also a Brit, and he's amazing. It's my favorite score I've ever been a part of. So
I mean, do you feel that having co-wrote this movie helps you direct it more than if someone else penned the film and then you directed it?
I mean, I think that for me, the relationship with the actors is different because if they have then this confidence that I know where these characters are coming from because I was the one creating them. So I think that's a huge plus. I think it just comes down to, and also as a director, just having, always things happen where you have to make adjustments, and really having it from yourself in this situation. I have another great writer I work with that I can have that level of confidence in. He's fantastic, Chad Law. But I mean, for me, in this situation, it was just really useful.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, was there anything that didn't make it to the final cut? Because as I've said so many times, this film is like non-stop from the beginning to the end. So I'm sure there was a few things that may not have made it to the screen. But is there anything that didn't make it to the screen that you wish did?
No, there was a great scene that Julian had where she comes home after that night and she goes to her baby and her mother's there. And I love the performances. I love the scene as an individual, but it felt like we were false ending. It felt like our story needed to come to a close. And pacing wise, it was the right thing to do. But it's a great little scene. That's the only one I can think of.
I mean, since obviously, in the news with all gun safety. You know, you can't really escape it. And obviously, this film, as well as many others that you've done, has got loads of guns in it. And obviously, there's certain companies that are deciding to put graphics in instead of actually firing blanks. I mean, what was the setup on the channel? Was it blanks, and how did it affect, you know, the day-to-day process of filming a film in respect of what's happened in the past?
Well, I mean, we filmed our opening bank robbery within a couple weeks of the tragedy of Rust.
Wow.
And everything was blanks. And it just heightened the level of safety. I worked with my armor, Dan Deering, and we have done a lot of this, and because we're very cognizant of safety, we've never had an accident. And most films don't have accidents. Let me say that. And I just think it just required us to have a whole nother level of. No, safety doesn't. I mean, we're safe no matter what, but it's really a matter of putting the crew and cast at ease. That we are respecting that and allowing everyone on the team to say, hey, could you please check that again, or can I please visually inspect that? And making people feel that safety was first, and we weren't going to get pissy because we were worried about time. And it worked out. It went really well.
I mean, obviously, you said that you use blanks. So the big question is, how many noise complaints did you get from the residents of New Orleans?
Well, a big chunk of the story was set in the Irish Channel, which is a borough of New Orleans. And it's my neighborhood. And so I have not been telling anyone that was. We drove everyone crazy. I think we single-handedly removed the ability for gunfire after a certain time of day in the neighborhood. So we didn't, we tried really hard to be as aware of that as possible, but we were fully permitted and got permission and everything. It's just, it's not always the easiest thing as a resident to have, big machine guns going off in the middle of the night.
I tell you what, if you did that in England, literally, we are a nation of complainers. So we would be, but it would have been amazing to see it being filmed, especially the bank heist at the beginning, because it was just incredible to watch. So I can only imagine it was incredible to film. I've got to ask as well, what's happened to all the heist masks? Are they all on your wall, or
we have them? Yes,
in a box.
Yeah. I have them on my wall.
Have you? Oh, what? They are so cool. I mean, I collect film props, and they are just amazing, especially the vampire one. I'm not biased because obviously Max, but why monsters? Why not something else? Who decided on making the masks into monsters?
I wrote the screenplay, but the story came from my story partner, which is Paul Rachel. And originally, I don't even remember what my dumb idea was, but he was really pushing us to have something a little more original. And there's a movie I grew up as a kid loving called The Monster Squad. Oh. And I thought it'd be really good if this team of bank robbers was the Monster Squad. And so that's where...
I had a group of mates that we made our own Monster Squad club. Literally, awesome. It's like one of the best 80s movies, especially when the wolf gets kicked in the nads. And
right.
And it's just amazing movie. It's one of my favorite. I'm waiting for my girls to be slightly older so I can show them, because I think they would love it. They really, really would. And obviously, you're a busy man, and you've got another film coming out very, very soon, Shrapnel, with Jason Patric, which I'm a massive Jason fan since Sleepers, an amazing film that doesn't get enough credit because I think it's just an amazing movie. It really, really is. And obviously Lost Boys. Can you tell me anything about that movie coming out, or is that a case of maybe you might have to come back onto the show for a quick chat about Shrapnel in the future?
Why don't we schedule time to talk more about it when we a different call and really dive into that. Working with Jason was amazing. It was Jason and Cam Gigante. And if you haven't ever seen the movie Narc, which is Joe Carnahan, Jason Patrick, Ray Liotta. It's phenomenal. And but yeah, I'd love to come back and chat if you want to do that.
Definitely, definitely. But William, you've been a great guest. I know that you're a busy, busy, busy man, but thank you so much for coming onto the show. So the 14th of July, the channel available in theatres and on demand. Go and watch it. You will not be disappointed. The time will fly by and you'll leave watching the movie wanting to watch it again. But great characters, great action, brilliant movie, my friend.
Brian, you're aces. Thank you so much. Appreciate the time.
Right.